give, you see Reverend Abraham Woods Jr. Boulevard, not too far from Center Street. Just beyond that is Legion Field. So this again is the College Hills neighborhood of Birmingham. Police on the scene right now after 3 people were shot and killed, a 4th shot, and rushed to UAB Hospital.
If we could take you back to that scene right now, we see heavy police presence gathering around this what looks like a residential neighborhood or area near the Legion Field area. Again, people here kind of talking on the phone, probably trying to get in contact with family and friends, maybe neighbors that live in the area to see what happened, to see who is impacted. Obviously, no identities released at this point. It takes a while in order to get that information, of course. It actually was very fast that they confirmed 3 people had died as this shooting just happened just over about a half hour ago. They, of course, have to contact family members, next of kin, in order for us to be able to release that information. But right now, we're just following this scene here. This could impact possibly your commute home. If you are heading in this area, I would highly recommend you to avoid this area of Center Street, College Hills neighborhood if you can. We're taking a look here at the scene again right outside this area where police are investigating at this point.
And again, we are expecting, or hoping I should say, to hear from Birmingham police as soon as they get some information, but they are on the scene right now responding to this, trying to figure out what happened, also asking questions about is there any kind of potential threat to other folks in the area. We don't know answers to those questions this afternoon, but those are all pieces of that investigation that they are working to put together at this point. Let me run you through what we know. If you are just joining us here on WVTM 13, we know that 4 people were shot this afternoon. 3 people are dead, 1 person injured, rushed to UAB Hospital. This happened in the College Hills neighborhood right on Center Street North. Center Street North, as you see that map with the side-by-side of the picture, Center Street North runs right along at 10th Court West, and it looks like somewhere in that area is where the shooting happened. There are homes from what we can tell. There's a church nearby. Legion Field is not too far from this either. Some of the front yard of some of those homes and that street across Center Street, that is all blocked off at this point. There is a lot of police tape blocking that area off, as we have seen more than a dozen officers walking through this area as they are continuing that investigation.
And we're talking about homicides, shootings that happen here in our city, and it's just a scary scene. Every time we talk about this, every time we talk about gun violence here in our city, it just is a stark reminder that we all just have to be careful. No matter where we go, we don't know what the day brings. Birmingham homicides in 2023, it actually dropped for the first time in 5 years, 135 victims. This is in a very unfortunate situation as we are just in the beginning of 2024, where 3 people in one afternoon confirmed dead, another injured, condition unknown at this time at UAB Hospital. Again, this is the 900 block of Center Street in the College Hills neighborhood. Limited details at this point. We don't have too much information. We are there on the scene, and typically a public information officer will come up to us eventually, give us an update, give us information of which we share with you right away to let us know what we do know at any given point of time.
And right now our crews are also on the scene, and we're going to be checking in with them coming up again in just a few moments just to kind of get their perspective on what they are seeing. We've got crews out there, as you can see from this picture. This is on Center Street in Birmingham. Also have a crew headed over to UAB outside the hospital, working to get some more information on the person that was taken to the hospital, the condition they're in, and just get updates from that angle as well. But again, we do understand it was just around 2:45 this afternoon when those calls came in of shots fired. We understand 4 people, at least 4 people were shot. 3 people are dead. 1 person is injured. That person taken to UAB Hospital. We do not have an understanding of the extent of those injuries of that 4th person, but right now you can see Birmingham police on the scene. They've got this area taped off, and this is Center Street in the College Hills neighborhood in Birmingham.
And again, we're taking a look here. I'm not sure, I see something in the middle of the road. I'm not sure if that belongs to investigators or something left behind on that scene. Kind of hard to tell from our vantage point here. And of course, when we're on the scene, just to bring you in, photographers, reporters were kept away a safe distance as they investigate the crime scene. They put together every little thing that happens and what evidence that they do have in order for them to be able to figure out exactly what happened here. We don't know if the gunmen or multiple people are still on the run or if they have been taken into custody. That is information we do not know at this point. All we do know are the victims, 4 people, 3 of them confirmed dead at this hour, 1 still at this point at UAB with an unknown condition.
And you would imagine those are some of the questions that police are working to answer at this point as well, to understand if there is still someone out there who is considered a gunman in this case, and to answer some of those questions about what led up to this shooting. Again, you are taking a live look right now at that camera on Center Street North. This is one of our photographers out there right now, working to get some information from the scene for us out there. And this is looking down Center Street. Center Street, this area, it looks like runs right between 10th Avenue and 9th Court West. So that's that area that we believe the shooting happened this afternoon. It was right around 2:45 when those initial calls came in. We do know 3 people were shot and killed. A 4th person was shot. That person was taken to UAB Hospital. We don't know the extent of their injuries. But again, 1 person at UAB Hospital, and there were 3 people that were killed in this area. That's on Center Street North. This again in the College Hills neighborhood of Birmingham.
And I do believe that Parker High School is not too far from this location. Something to keep in mind, possibly as school is getting out around this time. Not exactly sure the details with that. Typically, a school might go into lockdown. Again, not sure the exact distance, but I do know it is quite close to this area. Do want to mention 2 homicides as of today here in the city of Birmingham. That's 8 already in 2024, and that does not include today. So you can add 3 more already to the list just by a shooting that happened here this afternoon. Again, we kind of are giving you a side-by-side look here of the exact location. So if you are heading here, if you live near this area, Center Street north of the 900 block. This is not too far from Legion Field. And then you see the scene that's going on here, keeping cars and foot traffic and also car traffic away from the scene, giving you a wider shot here where we can see investigators kind of pacing around, walking around, and not sure if they're inside the home too, if this happened outside. Those are details we're not sure of right now.
And this is a busy area. So let me put this in perspective in terms of the amount of traffic that this area sees typically in the afternoon. As Brittany mentioned just a few moments ago, Parker High School is not too far away. You've got Legion Field that is just a few blocks away as well. The Smithfield Library and several churches, they are in this area as well, in addition to a number of homes and apartment complexes. So there are a lot of folks that live in this area, that may work in this area or go to school in this area. So on an afternoon, it's typically somewhat of a busy place with, some of those typical activities going on. This stretch of Center Street right now is blocked off. So we don't know how far that extends because we can only see a certain amount from this vantage point, but it stretches across Center Street somewhere between 9th and 10th Street. That's where police have this blocked off as they continue this investigation. And as we have been watching over just the past few moments, we have seen the number of officers out there increase. You've seen more and more officers on the scene right now as they try to answer some of those questions that we have about what led up to the shooting and try to piece together exactly what played out here, starting at about 2:45 this afternoon.
And it does appear that from what we could see, obviously, a lot of them are congregating in the street area. Not sure if that's where the shooting took place, but it does seem a lot of people are kind of pacing back and forth, getting together in groups and talking here again on Center Street. This happened not too long ago, 2:45. So 2:45 this afternoon, under an hour ago. It looks like our photographers are zooming out so we can get a wider view. We appreciate that. We could see first responders all the way back as far as the eye can see to where the road is open back up again. But again, it does appear that a short part of the street, would you say in 9th and 10th Street?
Looks like this area is right between 9th and 9th Avenue West, and that would be 9th Court. So it looks like that's the area that this is where the shooting took place, or where at least they have this blocked off at this point.
Right, and again, we're just taking a look here at where first responders are, where investigators are. It takes a lot of different people to be on the scene here. First of all, to make sure that the neighborhood, the surrounding community is safe. That is, I'm sure, a first and foremost concern for them at this point. We're not sure if the gunmen are on the run, one person or multiple people. We're not sure of that information, but that will play a big deal into deciding exactly what they're going to do at this point to make sure that the community is not in harm's way.
Yeah, and as we've kind of pulled out and given you a broader perspective of this afternoon, you can see how large this area is, and you can see also that Smithfield Library, it looks like, is just beyond some of that crime scene tape. So if you know that area, that may help you kind of figure out exactly where this shooting took place, because that is just on the other side of 8th Avenue West. That's where the Smithfield Library is. So you can kind of see that sign in the background, and so you can kind of tell from that vantage point of the chunk of Center Street that they have taped off at this point as police continue that investigation. You see a number of officers fanned out within that perimeter. Obviously during something like this, they would be looking for evidence, putting down markers, and trying to talk with folks who may have seen something, may have heard something, just to try to piece together what led up to this shooting. Again, it was about 2:45 when we started getting some of those initial reports. And what we know at this point, it is limited, but we do know, unfortunately, 3 people were killed. 1 person was injured. That person is at UAB Hospital, and we're working to get an update on that person's condition right now.
And it's just scary, right? We don't know the victims, we don't know the age of the victims, but being right near a library, not too far from a school, we have churches nearby, just people, you know, kind of finishing up the workday or in the middle of their workday, out and about. It's very scary with any type of violence and gun violence here in the city for us to have to even worry about. But again, we don't have any specific details to what happened here this afternoon. We are keeping you updated as we have information coming into this newsroom. Again, 4 people shot, 3 of them dead, Center Street, College Hills area, right near Legion Field, right near the library. And we see residents here kind of gathering along with investigators on the